Why does not growing up with a male figure have such an impact on some people and not on others? That question has 870 upvotes. And the answers on it are not wrong, but it's definitely missing something. It definitely didn't satisfy anyone's curiosity with the answers that were in the post. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So this person grew up, with the mom, the aunt. They were good people. They made good decisions. They made bad decisions. They learnt, just like anyone, we try our best to learn from our mistakes. They met their dad as a teenager, much later in life, and felt nothing. Can you imagine that? Finally meeting your father after years and years, being raised by your mother and aunts, and you just meet him and he's nothing to you. It means nothing to you. I respect the honesty, and I'm really glad that they came forward with this question, because it really does give us a lot to talk about, and I'm really looking forward to talking about this subject today with you. So I do hope you liked the video and stick with me on this one. The top answer that Reddit gave is men model men. Discipline, social behavior, academic outcomes. Women can't teach those things in the same way. And look, there is a truth in that. I'm not dismissing it, but the answer is there's more to the answer. That's not the only one. You're not really touching the why in there. And the why is where the people who are actually being heard are living. Here's what I think is actually happening. It's not really about the discipline. It's not really about the behavior. It's about people not having a mirror. When you're a young man, you're building a picture of what a man is supposed to be. What does one look like? How does he handle things going wrong? How does he treat people he loves? How does he handle arguments? How does he handle relationships? This is all important information. What does he do when he's scared but he can't show it? If there's a man in your life, even a flawed one, you're watching, you're filing things. Even if your filing is, I don't want to be like that. Even if the only example you have is a clear example of what you don't want to do. There's still data in that, and it still helps build your personality and who you will eventually become. It's still a reference point. When the mirror is missing, you don't just miss out on a role model. You start building the picture from whatever's available. Media, friends, dads, teachers, even pornography. And don't laugh at that, because it's more common than you know. People look to pornography for all kinds of references on how to live their life, because sometimes that's the best reference they have. The reason some people are wrecked by it and others aren't, and this is the part Reddit isn't saying, is what they needed the mirror for. Some people needed that father figure in their life for vastly different reasons than other people, and sometimes that might be why it doesn't affect you quite as much. But if you're also missing emotional safety and consistency, also carrying all the other things that the absent father becomes a symbol for, it becomes the explanation. And sometimes that's accurate, and sometimes it's doing the work of explaining things that are more complicated. Some people grew up without a father and it turned out completely fine because everything else held. And then some people grew up with a father in the house and they still ended up in therapy and they're still trying to work through it. There's no one size fits all here. It really comes down to the personality. And in our life, it's nice reflection to do, to look back and see who you may or may not have based your decisions off. Who was really key in that fundamental early stage of your life? Who did you look for answers? Because you might be surprised on how much of that personality, that early programming still shows through now. I think back in my life, and some of the early male role models I had was like my coaches growing up, and when I was a mechanic, some of the men in the mechanic shop were 3 or 4 years older than me. That I might have been 16, 17, that might have been 19, 20. That's an old enough gap for me to look up to them, but not old enough for it to be like, oh, this guy seems like my dad or something. That's an excellent example of a male role model. And unfortunately, in some examples, people have nothing. Absolutely no example of a male role model. And you can get it from other sources. You can. And that's what I really want to talk about next. And I'm rambling a little bit here because it does cut a bit deeply for me. This is something I've put a lot of thought in. So the person who posted this, I know you didn't feel like, probably because you had what you need from other people. Your mum and your aunt gave you enough of a foundation that the Pacific abstinence didn't collapse anything. And that's not luck, that's them. That's hard work. They put the time in to help you, and I hope, one day you maybe return that great gratitude, because I'm telling you, it's not for everyone. I'm guessing you probably do. Don't want to tell you live your life, but having a mum and an aunt there that can give you that early foundation, that early support, is unbelievably key. And I know a lot of people that didn't have that. And for the person who's watching this now, who's still feeling, it's not because you're weaker. The gap was bigger. Some people just had that slight more advantage, that one role model, that one guy that would stop by and maybe visit your mum and aunt. Maybe he was the postman and you just stop by for a coffee every now and then, and you just got to see a proper male role model and look at him go, that's who I want to be later. That's how I want to treat women. That's how I want to treat my girlfriends, my partners, my kids. That's the man I want to be. Because as we would know, part of being a man is having physical strength. And that physical strength can lead to abuse of all kinds. And that's a topic for another video once again, but this is why this is important. Why we get these early the fundamental layers of who you are, what you believe in, what your morals are as a man, as a human being, as a businessman, whatever it is. We get them right. Because to change them later in life is a whole other topic. I know I say that a lot because there's so many topics in here, and one video is not going to change your life. It's just going to give you a little bit more information, another path to possibly take, one more avenue to check. And once I just want to say that the work that you put in, I know it may feel like it's a consolation prize, that you had to find some other example, get it from a different place, and it's not the same thing. It's not true. It's the work. That's all the work. That's the whole thing. So thanks guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and as I said earlier, please leave a like and a sub, and please comment below. If you got something you want me to look at, a situation, a question, something you can't figure out, send it. There's a link below, or you can leave it in the comments, or you can DM me on Twitter, or in X I should say. I'm on just about every platform. I love answering questions. It could be anonymous too. I don't have to make a video out of it. I'm happy just to help you in the DMs. You don't have to figure out alone.